Welcome to the Birthing Better short course about the body skills. All of the Birthing Better skills were developed in the United States in the early 1970s. I worked with hundreds of families. These skills were developed by fathers and mothers alike. In this course, you are going to drill down on the body skills. So in the early 1970s, when these skills developed, families I worked with were not focused on the body at all because the cesarean rate was 4.5%. Women just labored and labored and labored. Nobody cared if it was a breech. Nobody cared if it was twins. Nobody cared if it was a posterior baby. Nobody was trying to spin babies, turn babies, get them into a good position. Whatever happened, happened. And it was only rarely that a woman ended up with surgical delivery. And that was major abdominal surgery. In the United States, from the 60s to the 70s, we all took Lamaze classes or the Bradley method. Women had been left alone in birth, and now they wanted their husbands to be with them or someone else. We went to the first childbirth preparation classes ever developed worldwide, and then we went home and practiced. Sadly, those two methods were focused on low-risk normal births in order to achieve a natural birth, pain-free labor with no medical intervention. So that left out the vast majority of us. Birthing Better families just wanted to answer this simple question, what about me? And so we developed lots and lots and lots of skills. But for the first 10 years of this development, the focus was on the coping, the managing, the dealing with, the handling, the working through, the staying on top of, and feeling in control of labor pains. And doing that in and around all of the medical assessments, all the medical procedures, and all the medical monitoring. And what happened was the labor and delivery nurses and obstetricians saw multiple millions of women coping better and fathers helping. And that's when childbirth began to change for the positive. Because my generation of women and my husband, we learned skills to birth our baby. So when Birthing Better families developed these skills, this was in our minds. We just knew we were going to birth our baby. So we wanted to know what we could do about us. So what about me was the catchphrase of Birthing Better. What we discovered in those 10 years is even though we were coping better, the fact is that many of us had long labors in first and second stage. And that meant that as cesareans became safer and easier to do, the cesarean rate began to go up. And families wanted to know, well, what about us? What about me in that situation? So we learned skills so that we could use skills in our baby's births. Why were we having more cesareans? Because of the failure to progress in first and second stage. So Birthing Better families shifted their attention. We had great coping and managing skills, but we needed to learn to prepare our body for birth. And this is the short course on that. So we try to start around 24 weeks. If you're 42 weeks plus, just pick and choose one or more of these skills and learn it and take it into your birth. If you're at 24 weeks, do a little at a time. Most of the body skills you do have to practice that by itself. Most of the other skills you just practice while you're doing anything else. So I can soften inside my pelvis. If I didn't know how, I couldn't do it. I can sit so my sit bones are wide enough to get that through. If I didn't know, I wouldn't do it. So the body skills are going to go through all the phenomenal Birthing Better skills that we developed. Some of us have elective cesareans. We still love preparing our body for birth. And we still love learning the skills to work through our baby's birth journey. We just do it differently. We use them in the car going to the hospital while being prepped and during surgery. Those of us who come to Birthing Better wanting a vaginal birth after a cesarean, we suddenly realize how little we knew about our body and how we didn't know how to soften and create space for our baby. Most cesareans are performed for failure to progress in first or second stage. We really encourage you as women to do all of the body skills that are in the videos on your partner first. Once they feel it in their body, they won't have any shyness about yours. They'll understand what they need to do because it was Birthing Better fathers who understand that birth is essentially an exercise in plumbing. A big object, your baby, has to come out of a container, your body. And that object has to open a very tight closure called your cervix. And then it has to move down through a tube, your bony pelvis. And then it has to move down through a short tube, which is your vagina. All of these areas can be softened, made more mobile, and you can create space in all of them. That helps your baby move down through and out with as little trauma as possible to you or your baby.